Hey guys, my name is Marco Manzillo. Welcome to the I Am Catholic YouTube channel. Welcome to the I Am Catholic project. Today, I am not giving the video. Mary Ann, a wonderful, wonderful person that I've had the pleasure of working with many a time, is going to be giving the video. She does a lot of practical counseling in and around the topic that you saw in the thumbnail, which was porn. Unfortunately for Mary Ann, this topic is so large, I had to give her a set of questions that she's going to confront. You'll see the question, then you'll see her answer. She's done a wonderful job about talking about the psychological effect that porn has on us. And on our relationships and on our everyday lives. Definitely going to work with her again in and around this topic into the future. If not her, then the wonderful foundation that she belongs to. Look at the contact details in the link below. I've also left a bunch of resources there for anyone that's going through it. As I said, we're going to have another video into the future. Without further ado, thank you so much, Mary Ann.
There is an insidious, sinister infiltration of pornography into our lives, into our homes, our relationships, indeed everywhere. And it's something real, in your face, causing so much harm, and yet nobody's talking about it. It's become a phenomenon, and it's now the backdrop to not only how one views sexual relationships and sexuality, but certainly to our sex education. I know that many of you are probably rolling your eyes and wondering, what is this old gogo doing, talking about something she surely knows absolutely nothing about? Well, let me just put it out there. Yes, I've seen pornography. Yes, I've watched pornography. But more importantly, I've witnessed the harm and the damage it has caused to so many people, both in their relationships and in their psyche. There are so many anti-porn organizations and individuals, particularly in the United States of America, talking or taking on online porn sites and talking about it and trying to eradicate the filth that these porn sites are exposing the world to. And we in South Africa, what are we doing? Sweet nothing. We're doing very little anyway. And yet the struggles are real and the same as in the rest of the world. Pornography impacts on the lives of anybody and everybody who exposes themselves to it. If you have a cell phone, or you have any form of technology, you will be, or you are, or have been exposed to pornography. It's time to expose pornography for the harm that it causes and to start talking about it more openly and to let people know that it is no longer something to be ashamed of, to be kept as a secret, but rather something that can and must be dealt with. You can be healed. You can be healed from it if it has become an addiction. And I'd like to reassure you that life, relationships, and indeed sex are far more meaningful than the lies that are being extorted by this phenomenon. This goes all the way to the way we perceive and we see and we act out on relationships between people, both normal friendships as well as dating relationships, if those even exist anymore, hookup culture. The average age of exposure to pornography is between the ages of 8 and 11, with the majority of those who are in the 14 to the late 20s age group having been exposed at least once, or if not, are watching it more often. I've actually read that in some places they can't even do research because there's no control group. There are not those people available who have never looked at porn. That is, that 100% of people have looked at porn at one time or another, and they cannot do the research that is necessary. This is scary. Possibly this is a little message for the baby boomers like me, that porn is not what it used to be. It was mostly a male's leisurely activity, a rite of passage, mostly looked at in print format, in a magazine, and actually for the most part pretty harmless, and I use that term reservedly. Today, however, online, fast-speed internet porn is something far more insidious and damaging. Scientists are now seeing that continued exposure to online porn gives the brain an unnatural high, beyond what it is wired to handle. And the brain eventually fatigues. The brain becomes desensitized. And it's much like drug abuse. And if you can go and look up Gary Wilson for more on this. Clicking from one site to the next at the speed of literally a keyboard tap. Watching images that cause a reaction of excitement and gratification has the ability to rewire the brain in ways never seen before. The more the brain takes in, the more it wants, the more it seeks, and the greater the kick it needs to provide that same kind of high. This is why people who started looking at what is termed vanilla porn, which is very much basically just naked body parts and soft porn, I suppose, why they find themselves, looking at that more and more often, they find themselves moving into more aggressive types of porn. Aggressive both in the images as well as in the violent nature of the pornography. And eventually they're unable to control their desires and unable to control the kind of genres that they view. And it can eventually also impact on their lives, their jobs, and certainly their mental state, their relationships, etc. And many end up in activities that they would never have thought of being involved in prior to being involved with pornography. Activities like prostitution, criminal activities like child pornography, sex trafficking, etc. Modern pornography is an industry. It's about the commodification of bodies for money. Pornography is not about anything more than presenting women's bodies to men for masturbation and vice versa. It turns people into consumers, not lovers. And we're all created to be lovers. We're created for love. I'm seeing so many more marriages and families torn apart by pornography. Wives, and as I say, more commonly husbands too, but a lot of wives perceive pornography, the viewing of pornography, tantamount to infidelity. Its impact leads to a loss of interest in good family relationships. And you know what? Here's the kicker. Married men who are involved in pornography actually feel less satisfied with their marital relationships and less emotionally attached to their wives. And this is noticed so very quickly by their wives. Porn use is a major factor in family disasters and is a pathway to infidelity and divorce. Now look, the 8-year-old, especially the boy child, because of the God-given nature of his brain, the boy child who's exposed early to these images becomes confused. Why? Because he also becomes aroused. And he can't find ways of expressing what this is doing to him. And so he'll keep it very quiet often. And by the time he's 12, 13, 14, 15, he finds he's consumed and addicted to pornography. Parents must teach their little ones about the danger of these bad images. Our pornified culture is influencing how we are raising our girl children, leading them to believe that the only way to find meaning or identity is to be sexually attractive and to be the object of sexual desire by males. If they don't conform to this, they become invisible. And let's face it, who wants to be invisible? As Jason Everett says, girls want to offer guys what they're least likely to reject, mainly physical. The problem is, what you win a man with is what you keep him with. If you win him with pleasure, you'll keep him with that. But he can get that anywhere. Does he want you, or does he want just the high that you give him? Guys, you are not soulless. You're not unfeeling people. You're not just amoral life support systems for an erect body part who feels entitled to use women in any way that you want. You're more than that. We need each other in more ways than our body parts express. And just to end with a quote by St. John Paul II, when he says, "The problem with pornography is not that it shows too much of the person, but that it shows far too little," unquote. And I think this is a quote that needs to be repeated again and again. Porn is fake. Porn is a fantasy. Porn is not real. It's a weapon. Once you realize this, it gets easier. God bless you.